Okay, hi everyone. We're just going to give it a minute before we get going. Give everyone just a couple more seconds here before we get started.
Angie,
Yep,
it's still not live.
it is
Oh, okay.
just not showing my screen yet.
Yeah, mine still says off air.
Mine says live. I wonder if it's just do you see it now?
Mine still says off air for some reason.
Hmm.
Maybe can someone type in if you can hear me?
Okay, mine does say that we're live. Oh, I think we lost Carrie. If you can hear me talking, can you just go ahead and type into the chat box so I know that somebody can hear? Hi, Carrie, you're back.
I'm back. Yes, we are live.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to get the PowerPoint started so you can see that. Okay, Carrie, can you see that now?
Yep, we're good.
All right, cool. Well, let's get going since it's just a couple minutes after 8:30 now. Thanks for your patience, everybody, while we work through some technical things. But welcome to the Holiday Survival Guide webinar. We are just a few days into December, and we know what a crazy month this is. We really are honored that you're here and prioritizing your health. So thank you for being here with us. After Thanksgiving last week, you may be feeling like you're already losing the battle a little bit, or maybe you're feeling great and you just want some reminders on how to stay on track. Whatever the case, we're glad you're here. We're excited to share our top 5 tips with you tonight. And as we go through this, please feel free to to type into the chat box on the right hand of your screen any questions that come up. So we do have a slight delay from when you'll type to when we'll see it. But please go ahead and ask questions, and we'd love to answer anything you've got. Okay. So let's start out with introduction so you guys know who we both are. We're both board certified holistic health coaches and doTERRA wellness advocates. And we just partner on things like this to really help busy families. We're both passionate about that. So I'm Angie Jones, and my focus is really to teach busy women how to nourish themselves and their families with whole foods, healthy lifestyle choices, and natural medicine so they can enjoy a healthier, happier life. I'm a busy working mom of 6-year-old triplets, 2 girls and a boy, so I definitely understand the stress of life in general. Not to mention at this busy time of year, I get the struggles. I have a lot of compassion for what women are going through. And I figured out some strategies that work in my life, and that's what I love to share with others. So, Carrie, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello everybody. I'm also a certified holistic health coach and an enthusiastic doTERRA wellness advocate. I work full-time as a pediatric occupational therapist and I'm a single mom of 3. So to me also time is very precious and I need to be really intentional about my health and sanity, especially during this fun but busy holiday season. So we are excited to share what Angie and I feel like are some really amazing strategies to help you make the most of this busy month. So what will we be covering today? We have 5 easy but essential tips that you can use right away to not only survive the holiday season, but truly thrive. Plus, we'll give you essential oil tips to give you an extra boost. Most of these tips are really easy things to do, but they're also really easy things not to do. And if you take these tips to heart and stay focused on your health throughout the holiday season, you'll avoid that icky 5 to 10 pound weight gain that none of us want. You'll stay healthy because we know it's flu season and a bad cold can really put a damper on the excitement and fun of the holidays for you or the kids. And with a few simple strategies, we can wake up on New Year's Day without a guilty conscience. So let's get into it. Our top 5 tips to survive and thrive include prioritizing sleep, staying hydrated, boosting your immune system, conquering sugar cravings, and transforming favorite recipes by using healthier ingredients. And then we have some extra bonus tips as well. The tip number 1 that we will be talking about is all about sleep. So we've heard it before. You need your sleep. The majority of us need 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night to function at our best. Lack of sleep makes it difficult to concentrate, so we aren't all on the ball like we need to be during this busy season. But did you know studies have shown that too little sleep is also a cause of weight gain? And that sleep is a big factor in the ability to maintain a healthy weight. So when we need an energy boost, we naturally grab high sugar and carb-filled foods. So this spikes our insulin levels, which is the hormone that tells our bodies to store fat. Not to mention, we likely eat when we're not even hungry. We are just needing energy. So even if you know this, it can be really hard to get enough sleep. Some tips to stay fit in time for sleeping. Some tips to fit in time for sleeping is first, get your shopping done online. This has been a huge one for me. And ever since I had kids, I would say the majority of my shopping gets done online. I just don't have time to go to stores like I used to. No time to drive in the traffic, find a parking spot, fight the crowds, etc. And if you're going shopping, have a great list mapped out so you can be efficient. If you're saving time on some of the essential to-dos of the season, like shopping, you can get other things accomplished, setting yourself up for more downtime to get enough sleep. So we are all overscheduled in December, and do we need to be? Oftentimes, we can do a better job prioritizing which events we really want to attend. So get comfortable saying no, or just stop in at a few events without staying out too late. Go to bed early. This one's a hard one for me, but I'm really trying. Especially if you have young kids at home who wake you up at the crack of dawn or the middle of the night regularly, factor that in. And don't stay up too late when you know it will be an early morning. If you're having trouble with this one, reach out to us for help. Oftentimes there are breaks in your day when you can complete what you need to get done, and sometimes you just need someone else to help you see what you're missing. Even if you feel like you are so busy that you need to stay up late, I assure you, the majority of us can be more efficient. So think of the time you spend on Facebook or watching TV that many of us are guilty of. If you need to break the habit of getting to bed late, try setting an alarm on your phone to remind you to start getting ready for bed. If you want to be in bed by 10:30, set an alarm for 10 p.m. so you can start your routine. This will help you get off Facebook or turn off the TV or close the computer until tomorrow. If you truly want to get through the season healthy and enjoy it, you do need your sleep. So are you one of those people who can't fall asleep and you try everything but you wake up constantly? One big culprit that we see with our clients is caffeine. Caffeine will stay in your system for 8+ hours, and that's huge to understand. So if you're drinking coffee, black or green tea, or even eating chocolate in the late afternoon or evening, your sleep cycles will be disrupted. You might just think that you don't sleep well, but it could very well be the caffeine that's sneaking into your diet that is the problem. And similar to caffeine is alcohol. A glass of wine seems harmless, and sometimes it can even seem like you fall asleep better. But again, alcohol takes a long time for your body to metabolize, and your sleep patterns will definitely be interrupted. I know for me personally, I wake up at 4 a.m. when I have had wine the night before. So definitely not good for my productivity the next day. And if you're going to have alcohol, try to have it with a meal or earlier in the evening, not right before bed. A lot of people have the minds that just go nonstop. And if you're one of those lucky ones who runs through your to-dos as you try and fall asleep and wake up at 2 a.m. with brilliant ideas, try keeping a notebook by your bed. Jot down what's on your mind so you can get back to sleep. Then in the morning, you can revisit what you wrote. There are also many essential oils that are invaluable for sleep as well. We both know people who have gotten off of sleeping pills by using essential oils. And different people respond better to different oils, but common ones that are very beneficial are lavender, Roman chamomile, and serenity, my personal favorite, which is a yummy calming blend. Now Angie's going to talk to us about our next awesome tip on water.
Yes. So, like sleep, drinking enough water is a huge factor in your energy, for weight maintenance, for controlling your cravings, flushing toxins, and your immune system function. So, again, this one seems so simple, but most people just don't prioritize it. It's easy to drink water, but it's also really easy to forget, right? Especially when the weather's cold like it is now. You don't seem as thirsty a lot of the time. And then we end up thinking we're hungry when we're just thirsty. So you're eating when you don't want to be eating. So I saw a statistic that showed that the majority of people are walking around really quite dehydrated on a daily basis. Why is this? If you think about diet sodas, coffee, the things a lot of people are drinking, that doesn't count. They dehydrate you even more. We're talking about pure water here. And you need a good amount of it. A good rule of thumb is to drink half of your body weight in ounces of water per day. What does that mean? If you weigh, say, 140 pounds, you should be drinking 70 ounces of water per day. So that's really over the 8-ounce glasses of water per day you may have heard before. Are you getting that? I know I need to work at getting that much and really put systems into place to make sure that I do drink enough water. But the more you drink, the more that you'll notice thirst. It's kind of amazing how it works, but try it. Try drinking a lot more and see if you notice that you're thirstier during the day. So what kind of tricks do I use to drink this much water? Well, first of all, I always start the day with 1 to 2 cups of lemon water. What I do is I warm up 2 cups of water and then use either the juice of half a lemon or 2 to 3 drops of lemon essential oils. Why is that? Well, lemon is amazing for detoxifying and flushing out toxins. And also, lemon is really alkalizing to the body. So that might be counterintuitive to think about because we think of lemons as being really acidic. And lemons are acidic, but in your body, it's actually very alkalizing. And your body needs to stay slightly alkaline. Many of the foods we eat, like sugar, animal protein, processed foods, caffeine, those are all really acidic. So drinking lemon water will help with that alkaline balance in your body. So that's a really important one. Also, we're generally dehydrated when we wake up in the morning. And starting the day with water instead of coffee is really beneficial, or at least have a couple of glasses of water before your coffee. Also, I rarely leave home without my water bottle. It's pretty much a habit now. I have a glass water bottle that's always with me. I have it along, to take sips of while I'm driving. When it's always with me, it just reminds me to constantly be drinking. And it's become a habit for my kids, too. We just rarely leave without them. But that said, I'm really not a plain water drinker. I don't like it very much. It's just kind of, it's boring, it's bland. So I add a lot of flavor to my water to make it exciting enough to drink. Honestly, I generally just add drops of essential oils because it's easy. And anything that's easy, I kind of like. Grapefruit, lemon, lime, peppermint, or even the Slim and Sassy blend I really love. Love adding that to my water. But Alternatively, you can just add wedges of lemon, lime, a few raspberries, cucumber, anything like that to flavor your water. Just keep some pre-sliced lemons or limes or cucumber in your fridge so you can just drop them in or bring them to work with you. Also, we know alcohol dehydrates us, so another great thing to get in the habit of, especially at this time of year when you're out at parties, is having a glass of water for every drink you consume. So you can even drink sparkling water out of a wine glass or a champagne flute or something, so you can still kind of feel fancy and celebratory, even though you're just drinking water. That's a really fun trick to do at parties. So next, I'll have Carrie again take us through our immune systems and building that up.
Awesome. Thanks, Angie. So our tip number 3 for this evening is all about your immunity. Keeping your immune system strong is essential during this busy month of December. We know it's flu season and the germs are rampant in schools, in the workplace, and everywhere we go. And you can't enjoy the season if you're run down with an illness or taking care of sick children. One important way to keep your immune system strong is to ensure you're getting enough fruits and vegetables. You may have heard of this, but eat the rainbow. One great way is veggies at every meal. So for me, this is super simple when I start the day with a green smoothie. My go-to recipe is 1 cup of almond milk, 2 large handfuls of leafy greens like spinach or kale, 1 to 2 cups of fruit like mixed berries. I often just use frozen because those are so easy to have on hand, and 1 scoop of vegan non-soy protein powder and 1 tablespoon of chia seeds. And if you're traveling, you can find great quality green powders to add to a smoothie and just shake it up. So doTERRA also makes one called Terra Greens, and you can also find other brands at health food stores like Whole Foods or a natural food co-op. For lunch and dinner, make sure you're eating a good mix of raw and lightly cooked veggies to get all the vitamins and minerals that your body needs. In addition to nutrition through food, we also recommend taking a high-quality multivitamin daily. The reason I take one is even with a healthy diet, is our food supply is just not as nutrient-dense as it used to be. Between farming practices and the fact that much of our food is shipped from far away, we really just can't count on food alone to meet our nutrient needs. So multis are like my insurance policy. And if you have questions on the one we recommend, just let us know and we'd be happy to steer you in the right direction. Wash your hands. And this one seems so obvious, yet is so overlooked. Just get in the habit of washing your hands as soon as you walk into your home and have your family do the same. Hand sanitizers are great to have in your purse or in your office as well, but just make sure that the ones you've chosen are alcohol-free. The final tip for immunity is to use the On Guard Essential Oil Blend. The oils used in this blend have strong abilities to kill harmful bacteria, mold, and viruses. My favorite way to use On Guard is to diffuse it in the air. I also rub it on the bottom of my kids' feet before bed whenever there's junk going around. You can try On Guard on surfaces to disinfect. You can infuse it in hand soap, laundry soap, and other cleaners too. So this oil is probably my #1 oil, and it's really the reason I got on board with doTERRA. I actually was first interested in starting to use essential oils last fall, and it was when my son Jonah, he was just entering 3rd grade. Within 2 weeks of being in school, he contracted strep throat, and he was resistant to the first antibiotic and resistant to the second antibiotic. So that kind of scared me, but then it developed into pneumonia as well. So it just kept getting worse. And I remember it was a beautiful September day. It was just sunny. I knew he should have been outside running around and playing, and he was sick in his bed, so tired and so sad. And I just felt completely helpless as a mother. We had already been to the doctor 4 times in 2 weeks, and there was just nothing else that I knew of that I could do for him. And it was kind of at that moment that, a little light bulb went off. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll just listen to all my health coaching friends who are raving about doTERRA. And honestly, since then, we have, I don't, if we start coming down with something, get that little sore throat or just start feeling run down, we will diffuse On Guard. And let me tell you what a difference it has made. So 2 school years ago, I had to be off work for 15 days that year. Last year, after we started using the oils, not even one day. Just feel like the On Guard is so amazing for building our immunity and for, really stopping if we do get any viruses or start coming down with anything. It really is amazing at just kind of stopping it in its tracks. So I am in love with On Guard and highly recommend it to all my friends and especially anyone with young kids.
Yeah, that's an amazing testimonial, Carrie. Really is. Okay. So I will take over and move on to our number 4, the dreaded sugar cravings. At this time of year, it's really hard, right? There are cookies and candies everywhere you look, it seems, and sugar is so addictive. Once you cave, the cravings come on really strong. And we all know that overindulging in sweets is a really easy way to pack on the unwanted pounds, especially this month. So here are some good strategies to outsmart those sugar cravings. First, make sure you're eating enough clean protein and healthy fats at your meals and snacks. Sugar cravings sometimes crop up when we just need more protein. Great high-quality protein options are things like organic eggs, wild-caught fish like salmon and tilapia, free-range chicken and turkey, grass-fed beef, beans and lentils, tofu and tempeh, and even vegan non-soy protein powders like hemp or pea or rice protein. All these options should be organic whenever possible. And the tough part is your protein needs really vary depending on your lifestyle, your age, your genetics. So it's hard to just give a blanket statement of how much protein people need. But if you're experiencing strong sugar cravings, take a look at your protein intake. Try upping that a little bit and see if that helps you. Along with protein, make sure you're getting some good quality fats in your diet. The best sources are really from whole foods, but you can also have small amounts of oil. A good serving size, just to give you an idea, is about half of an avocado per day or 1 to 2 ounces of raw nuts, which is about a small handful, really. You don't need a ton, so don't go overboard. I know we hear, oh, almonds are good for you, so we eat tons of almonds, but you really don't want to go overboard on the fats either. Just know you need some. They're part of a healthy diet, and they really satisfy and sustain you longer, so you don't crave that instant energy from sugar, which is a lot of times just what we need. We need the energy, and so that's what we're craving, the sugar. Another one is if you like cinnamon. This is a really great tip for you. Cinnamon is a natural herb that controls blood sugar. I love adding cinnamon to my smoothies. I sprinkle it on like frozen blueberries to snack on, or any baked fruit, of course, for snacks. Cinnamon has a natural sweetness, so you get that sweet flavor without adding sugar, which is awesome. And along the lines of cinnamon is the Slim and Sassy oil. So I mentioned that before. I like to put that in my water. It's just a really yummy essential oil blend that you can add to water. You can take it in a supplement form. It contains cinnamon to control appetite and blood sugar. It also contains grapefruit and lemon to detoxify, and peppermint and ginger for healthy digestion. So think of all those flavors. So it's really good, but it works so well for sugar cravings. I'll just put a drop under my tongue when I have a big sugar craving. I really want something sweet, and it literally takes care of it in seconds. It's really good. Love that. And the last tip I have here is to satisfy your sweet tooth with a healthier alternative. So of course you can eat fruit. That's a great one. Either fresh or frozen, a small amount of dried fruit. Again, don't go overboard on the dried fruit because it's very condensed. But another tip along with, something else healthier besides fruit, is just to eat more starchy, sweet vegetables during the day. This really helps to reduce the sweet cravings at night because you're having that sweetness from some of the vegetables. So think of sweet potatoes, think of winter squash like butternut squash. Even carrots are really sweet. So if you're eating a little bit more of those earlier in the day, that can really help with sugar cravings. When I really need something sweet in the evening, a yummy guilt-free treat that I make is a homemade hot cocoa. So I'll take a cup of either almond or coconut milk, put it in a saucepan on the stove, and add 1 or 2 tablespoons of either raw cacao powder or carob powder. So carob powder is nice because there's no caffeine in that. And then just a few drops of an organic liquid stevia. So you just heat that up, stir it over low heat, and within 2 minutes, 2, 3 minutes, you've got a really yummy hot chocolate that really satisfies. I like that one. So next tip number 5, is all about transforming your favorite recipes into healthier versions. And this one, we just feel like is so essential because we want to be able to enjoy the holidays without deprivation. You don't want to feel deprived because it'll never work long term if you're depriving yourself. But at the same time, you want to avoid the 5 to 10 pound weight gain that's going to happen if you overindulge in the cream, butter, and sugar-filled meals and snacks. Swap outs can be really simple and they can save you tons of calories, teaspoons of sugar, grams of unhealthy fats. So I'm going to share a few of my favorite swap outs with you. For oil, when a recipe calls for butter or canola oil, my go-tos are either olive oil or coconut oil. I absolutely never use canola oil, and I don't want you to either. For baking, just simply melt down coconut oil and use the same amount that the recipe calls for. So I know canola oil, was touted as a healthy, alternative in recent years. If you look back at cookbooks in the last couple of years, you're going to see lots of canola oil, but it actually really is highly processed. It's a really unhealthy oil. So anytime you see that in a recipe, just replace it with coconut oil instead. So that's my number 1 for baking. Another swap out for baking is to use applesauce in place of at least some of the oil called for in a recipe. I do that a lot for recipes, and they turn out fine. You can do that too. In cooking, I use olive oil, coconut oil, or I'll just use some herbs or stock in place of butter. It depends on what the purpose for the butter is. So if the recipe needs a fat, that's when I'll replace it with either olive oil or coconut oil. But if the butter is just there to really add flavor, try different herbs or stocks. For instance, with mashed potatoes, you can just use a low-sodium vegetable stock for flavor. That will add a ton of flavor to potatoes without having to add a lot of that saturated fat from butter. So next, I'm going to talk about flour. Consider your goal to throw out your all-purpose flour. You really don't need it. I literally do not have any in my house. Instead, my number 1 go-to is whole wheat pastry flour. So I use usually Bob's Red Mill whole wheat pastry flour for baking. The whole wheat pastry flour is just a finer texture than regular whole wheat flour, so your baked goods will turn out better. Otherwise, regular whole wheat flour, things might be a little tough, but with the pastry flour, you don't get that. I also use a lot of gluten-free flours in cooking and baking. One of my favorites is oat flour, which I usually just grind myself in a blender. So I'll buy the gluten-free rolled oats. Even Trader Joe's sells a big bag of them, and then just put them in my blender and grind it up into a flour myself. Super simple, and I just find that oat flour works really, really well in cookies. That was one of my go-tos last year for Christmas cookies, is using oat flour. I also like almond flour, so using almond flour, you're getting a little extra protein in there too. If you go online, and a lot of the healthier paleo cookie recipes and things like that, a lot of them call for almond flour. And if you're going to make a recipe that calls for a few different gluten-free flours, I suggest going to Whole Foods or your local co-op. and buying flour out of the bulk section so you can just get the amount you need. If you just need a little bit of coconut flour or rice flour, you don't want to buy a big bag of that stuff. So that's where it's really nice to be able to buy in bulk, out of the bulk section just to get the half a cup or whatever it is that you need. Next one, of course, sugar. I really just see no need to have white refined sugar in your house either, just like the white flour. Unless, of course, you're going to make a sugar hand scrub, which I did a couple weeks ago, and it was really fun and works out great. But depending on whether you need a granulated or a liquid sweetener for your recipe, you have some options. One of my absolute favorite sweeteners for baked goods, for smoothies, for sweet dips, like my pumpkin dip, is medjool dates. They're really sweet. They work great in tons of recipes. And even though, they're high in sugars, they have a lot of the nutrients, so the vitamins and the minerals that kind of make them a little lower glycemic and easier for your body to handle. When I absolutely need a granulated sugar, I use coconut palm sugar. That's absolutely my favorite. It's pretty readily available at stores. Even Trader Joe's sells it now. It will spike your blood sugar a little bit, but it does so to a much lesser degree. It is a much lower glycemic sweetener than a white sugar or a brown sugar, so you can swap it out for either of those. I use this a lot in holiday cookie recipes. And when a recipe calls for a liquid sweetener like agave, I use either raw honey or a good quality maple syrup, which are, again, still really sweet, but they also have essential vitamins and minerals, so they're better for you. The thing about agave, kind of like canola oil, agave is not the wonder sweetener that we once thought it was. It does, we thought it was a really low glycemic sweetener and it was this great thing, but it's actually, although it's low in glucose, it's really high in fructose. And fructose really messes with leptin in your body, which is the hormone that kind of controls your appetite. You think you're doing a great thing by switching to agave syrup, but it's really just messing with, your ability to control your appetite. So really stay away from that one. Go to raw honey or maple syrup instead. Other ones that I personally love are coconut palm nectar. So again, there's that coconut, although it doesn't taste like coconut, but it's a lot of things are made from coconut now, or brown rice syrup. So these two I use a lot. They don't taste as sweet as sugar, but I personally love the flavor. So I use those in place of maple syrup in a lot of things. Stevia is also an acceptable alternative for white sugar that is calorie-free. It won't spike your blood sugar. It's made from a plant, kind of like the commercial says. But if you use stevia, be sure you're using 100% organic stevia. You're going to want to read the label, the ingredient label, and make sure that that's what you have. And with stevia, start with a really small amount because it's much, much sweeter than sugar. So if you add too much, that's when you get that bitter aftertaste that you may have heard about with stevia that you want to avoid. You want to avoid brands like Truvia. So I know that a lot of people, that's their go-to stevia. But Truvia, if you look at the ingredients, is not just stevia. It's stevia with sugar alcohols. So again, stay away from that brand and just look for a good quality organic stevia. Next is the artificial colors, the flavors, artificial sweeteners, kind of along those lines. They all really wreak havoc on our systems, and they're not recognized by our body as food. We're sometimes unaware of the inflammation that's taking place in our bodies as a result, but there's other times when we see the behavior that can result from these artificial ingredients messing with brain chemistry. So I think about that especially with kids. It's really best to avoid them. And the good news is there are natural food colorings available, so you can still make those colorful frostings and things for sugar cookies and all that fun stuff that we like to do. I know my local co-op sells natural food coloring, and they're also available on Amazon. You can also use fruit juices like pomegranate or blueberry for really nice colors. So play around with that and really try to avoid all that artificial stuff. A couple other tips to make your recipes healthier, your favorite family recipes. For your favorite main dishes, always try to add more vegetables. This will up the fiber in the meal, it'll fill you up faster, so you naturally eat less. I add extra vegetables and leafy greens to pretty much everything, to soups, to pastas, to casserole type dishes. There's always extra side dishes of vegetables, so I really try to up that as well. So we're naturally just eating less and eating more of the really good stuff. Avoiding cream and cream-based sauces when you can. So we know those are kind of calorie traps as well. You can often just puree vegetables. So things like cauliflower, winter squash, like the butternut squash. You can puree up soaked cashews or white beans like cannellini beans, even coconut milk. So there's a lot of alternatives to get that creamy texture in your dishes without using the unhealthy saturated fats in dairy cream. If you have some specific questions on recipe swap outs, please let us know, type those in, and we'll help you come up with some alternatives to try because it's really fun to kind of make over some of those dishes so that we're not feeling deprived. And on to our bonus tips. So we didn't want to leave you without reminding you of some of the key tips that you've likely heard before, but they're really worth repeating. Again, many of these tips are really easy to do, but they're really easy to forget or ignore as well. The goal is to have you remember to follow as many of these as you can, and when you do, you will stay healthier. You'll be able to enjoy all the festivities that this next month has to offer, and you'll be able to do so without adding that 5 to 10 pounds to your frame and waking up on New Year's feeling like you have to start your health goals all over again. The first thing is exercise. You need to keep movement in your life even when you're busy. It's great for your immune system and flushing out toxins. It's also great for energy. A lot of times when we feel really run down, the last thing we feel like doing is exercising. But if you push through that, your workout will re-energize you and really boost your mood. You can try some yoga to de-stress. Go for a quick walk around your office or around the block. Go for a quick run if you can. Even if you're just taking a far away parking spot at the mall if you're out shopping, or you're spending time cleaning your house for holiday guests. You just want to make sure you get moving and keep moving. Figure out what time works for you to fit in that exercise. I know for me, it means just getting up earlier in the morning and getting it done. Because if I wait until my kids are all up and going, it's not going to happen. We're too busy. I'm working all day long, and then my kids get home, and we're running all night. So for me, even getting up a half an hour earlier, that's a half an hour of exercise, and that's plenty. That's something to keep you moving. So just make sure you're prioritizing that. Next, you'll likely be attending a few holiday parties and family gatherings the next few weeks. Make sure you don't show up starving. Unless you know that there will be healthy food served, you will likely overindulge and lose all sense of your willpower when you're faced with those really yummy treats if you have an empty stomach. Eat a healthy snack with fiber and protein before you go to the party. Things like an apple with some almond butter, some veggie sticks and hummus, even a cup of soup. Just focus on nutritious snacks and you're going to set yourself up for success. And then when you are at the party, don't hang out by the food table. You probably heard this before too, but if you do, I guarantee you're going to mindlessly graze and you're going to eat more than you even realized you were eating. So concentrate on the conversations and take part in the games or the dancing if that's a part of the party, or even keeping your hands occupied. So hold water in one hand and a phone or a camera or a purse in the other. Make it difficult for yourself to grab food so that you'll have to think about it. It'll be kind of a challenge for you to take that next bite. So you'll actually have to think about it and be able to say, is this something I really want, right? So when you do eat, decide on what you'd really love to indulge in. Take the treats that look really delicious to you, and then fill the rest of your plate with fruits and veggies and lean protein, and just enjoy the food you've chosen. When you concentrate on the flavors, you will feel satisfied after a little bit, and you won't need to go back for another cookie or another truffle. But if you're starving and you're shoving it in, that's when you don't even taste it. So just enjoy it. Personally, I like to try the things that I know I won't get anywhere else. Those are worth sampling to me. So maybe, a certain, um, you're at someone's house and they make this one wonderful thing. Well, try that. But you don't have to try everything. Parties, family gatherings, special events with your kids, all these things are really a part of enjoying life, and you don't want to feel deprived. But if you set yourself up for success, you will be able to enjoy them without the weight gain, without the energy drain. So I'm going to turn it over to Carrie.
Thanks, Angie, for all those amazing tips. So we really want you to enjoy all the wonderful things the holiday season has to offer. We are so honored that you listened in and truly hope you picked up a couple things that you will do over the next few weeks to make sure that you stay healthy. If you have questions, please type them in now, and we're happy to answer any questions you have. I just want to let you know that there is a chat option on the right-hand side, and that is probably the best place to put that in right now if you have any questions at all. So Angie and I are very passionate about the role of essential oils in good health, and if you're interested in hearing more about them, some of the ones we spoke about tonight, we do have a special offer for you. So we have an amazing deal right now when you open a wholesale account with doTERRA. And the wholesale account allows you to get the same pricing on therapeutic essential oils that we get. The membership is free when you order a kit, and when you sign up with a 200-point value order, or if you place an order and you're already a member, you will receive a free bottle of frankincense. It's really one of the most prized oils there is. They call it kind of the king of essential oils because it is so great for anything inflammation related, which is really the cause of so many chronic diseases today. It's amazing for mood, for pain, and the list just goes on and on. For your skin, it's just one of my favorites, honestly. And you simply need to just email Angie or myself. So our email addresses are on the screen if you want to learn more. We will also give you another bonus if you're one of the first 2 people to contact us and start a wholesale account. We have a couple of our favorites on hand, ready to hand out to you, and so you'll have these before Christmas. You want to stay healthy, you want to stay happy, you want to stay balanced, and we are here to support you with all of those goals. So we have, in addition to the frankincense special, we have a couple of our favorites on hand that if you do open a wholesale account, we will get to you within the next week. So again, our email addresses are on the screen. You can email me, I'm Carrie, K-A-R-I, at healthycastles.com, or Angie is at Angie at ajhealthyfamilies.com. You can contact us at any time with questions or thoughts. And if, again, anyone has any questions, just go ahead and type them in now. We'll just give it a minute or two because, we did talk about there is a delay. So people might still be finishing up, just finishing up listening in now.
Great. Carrie, do you see anything? I don't see anything yet.
No, I am not seeing anything yet either.
Okay. Well, why don't we just say if you have any questions, please reach out. We'd love to help. As I'll just echo what Carrie said, we'd love to help you make this a really enjoyable holiday season and still be keeping on your health goals. So please reach out for help. We'd love to help. And again, thank you for joining us. We're really honored that you took the time. So happy holidays, everyone.
Yep, thanks so much. Happy December.